Do you feel like men are just a bunch of horny bastards? I mean, this is the complaint I hear from women, that men just want sex and they try so fast to get you into bed. What the hell is their problem? I don't understand. Well, I'm going to help you understand. Now listen, you may not like this explanation, and this is not to validate anything. This is to help you see clearly why some men are moving so fast sexually. And again, I'm not saying they should, but one of the reasons why they do is because he doesn't want to get played. Now, I know that might have caught you off guard, but let me explain here. The reality is that for a lot of men, they've gone on dates and women have used them for free meals, for free entertainment, all right? She was just bored, so she took the date. And despite a lot of women, other women wanting to believe that, well, this type of stuff doesn't happen, it does, it happens all the time. A lot of women do not understand how many men have been burned in this situation. Now, some of you might be saying, well, what the hell does that got to do with sex? Well, here's the thing. For the man to know that this woman is actually serious about him, one of those ways or measuring sticks is by her willingness to be intimate with him. Because what other investment is she making that is equivalent to his investment that allows him to believe she's at least seriously or genuinely interested or attracted to this man? Now, again, I know some of you are saying, how the hell is sex an equivalent investment? Let me explain. I am not saying pound for pound, and just so I'm clear, his investment is money, okay? Because you're both giving time. He's giving his time to be there, you're giving your time to be there. So now what is the separating factor? He ends up, in most cases, spending money, all right? Which is why, let me just throw this in there, you have some men who will argue that the woman should pay her half on the first date. Why? Because he wants to know you're mutually invested. If you do that, that is another way some men are able to say, okay, she's just not here to use me and play me. But if you're not paying your own way, sex becomes the next thing, all right? Or for some men, the preferred, the preferred thing to use as an investment, because even though, again, I'm not saying it's equal pound for pound, it is equal in the sense of what each sex values, what each side values, in the sense that when a man goes on a date and he finds out, he spends money on a woman and it goes nowhere, it's very easy for him to feel used and disappointed and hurt because of how she used him for money. It's not even, oh man, I took an hour out of my day to be there. A lot of times it's if he spent a lot of money on her, that can be what hurts him and makes him feel used. For women, a lot of times it could be you slept with him, nothing came out of it, and now that's what made you feel used. So again, I want to make clear, I'm not saying they're actually equal pound for pound. I know I keep repeating that, but what I am saying is that what is important to that man and viewed as his investment is the money. He's viewing your willingness to be intimate with him as a counter investment, so to speak. And so a quick story I want to give is there was a guy who went out, actually, matter of fact, it's from a TV show. So I was watching Family Guy. There's an episode of Family Guy, all right? And for those of you who don't know, one of the characters is a dog named Brian, all right? And Brian goes on a date with this woman. Now, please don't hold me to the fact a dog is dating a woman. It's a cartoon, all right? Just work with me here. If you've seen the cartoon, you get it. But Brian goes on a date with this woman. He really likes the woman, right? And another character, Stewie, tells Brian, how about you don't try to have sex with her so fast? Like, you always move too fast with these women. Take your time. So Brian takes his time. He doesn't make a move. He waits several days, doesn't make a move. By date whatever, he's coming home one day and passes by a car, and the girl that he was going to date with is having sex with another character on the show named Cleveland. Okay, so And he's like, what the hell? You know, I was trying to respect you. I was trying to be patient. And what did she say? Well, I thought you weren't interested. You never made a move. Which is another fear some men have, that some men have faced, that not making a move, not at least even making an attempt, can sometimes be viewed as he's not actually interested like that. And again, for some of you ladies, you may say that's ridiculous, but I'm telling you, I have heard it, I have seen it. Men going through situations where the woman said, well, not only will they question how serious this man is or how genuinely interested he is, they'll even question his sexuality when he doesn't make a move. So there's a lot of things confusing or getting in the heads of some of these men that cause them to feel like, okay, I've got to try something as early as possible to establish, one, that, you know, I'm a man and only to question his sexuality, that, you know, to not mistake that he's not genuinely interested and romantically interested specifically in the woman. But again, to also see is her willingness to engage an affirmation to him that, okay, she is genuinely interested in me. Because you can say the words, talking on the phone doesn't do it for him. You know, and again, other than spending money yourself, sex becomes that thing. So I kind of rambled on, but I hope you get the point. And I want to say one more time, I'm not excusing it, validating it, saying it's the right way. I'm explaining one of the reasons why men try to have sex so soon. But then to piggyback off of that, another reason why he tries to have sex so soon is because he doesn't want to get friend zoned. So again, kind of going off the story of Brian and Family Guy, all right? And the fact that some men have had their sexuality questioned. Some men have been told, well, they thought, you know, he wasn't interested. And then only to go see this same woman or not see, but find out she went and had sex with somebody else. All right? And he ends up in the friend zone. And so now, of course, we can make the argument that if she was going to put him in the friend zone, that's where he was going to go regardless of whether he tried to have sex or not. But again, if he doesn't men have seen that not making the move can sometimes send the wrong signal. And he does not want to end up in that place, all right? Now, some people don't believe in the friend zone, but it exists. And it's just as simply, if you don't understand the whole dynamic, it's just this, it's simply putting that man in the box of, I don't want to do anything romantic with him. We're just friends, all right? But he's romantically interested. So he doesn't want to be put in that box. He doesn't want to remain in that box. That fear can cause a man to want to move too fast, okay? And I've even seen another example. This was a real life situation where a man who actually was someone who you could say was a hoe. Like this dude, he ran the streets. All right? He was all over the place. And then one day, we linked up and he was like, man, I think I met the one. And I was like, you serious? Like, yeah, man, she's amazing. We talked for hours. Like they met that day. They ended up talking for hours. He was really into her. And he said, out of, you know, his own mouth and out of his own desire, I'm going to really take my time with this one. I'm not even going to try to have sex with her. I really want to make sure she understands I'm serious, right? So he does that. He takes his time. He doesn't make the move, all that stuff. I want to say a month into dating, getting to know each other, whatever you want to call it, what happens? This woman gets with another guy. He was devastated. He was hurt. And what was the reason she gave him? I didn't know that you were interested like that. Again, his unwillingness to make a move sexually allowed her to believe, and again, some people may make the argument, well, maybe that's just an excuse or whatever. Either way, when men are hearing that their lack of making a move allowed this woman to interpret them as not actually being interested, and the end result is her getting with someone else, her sleeping with someone else, whatever, it makes those men feel like, okay, to avoid this, I have to try something sooner. I cannot be as patient with having sex. it's an unfortunate and unhealthy perspective, but it is a reality that happens to a lot of guys. So this is another reason why some men move very fast. Now, a third reason, I wasn't really going with the numbers, but a third reason why men try to have sex too soon is sometimes they misread your signals. Now, I want to say signals in quotation marks because they may not have, your intention may not have been to throw them a signal of any kind, but they misinterpreted your behavior as a signal, as a green light to try something, okay? So, example, I know of another story where a man was cool with a girl, all right? And so they weren't necessarily dating. They were just cool. And, but it wasn't cool like there was an established friendship. It was like, hey, you know, they see each other, it's all good, but whatever. And I think they may have flirted before, that's it. But one day, the guy, she was a mutual friend of his roommate. He invites the girl over, okay? While the roommate wasn't there. The girl comes. Now, in her mind, it may have just been an innocent, hey, I'm just coming over, it's all good, we're all friends in her head, right? But to him, signal one, you came over when it's just me at the house, okay? Signal two, again, in his head, he invites her to go watch TV in his room and sit on his bed. She agrees, okay? So again, to him, this is a signal that you are open for him trying something. And I want to make clear, not saying he thought, you know, he can force himself on her or whatever, but he thought he was being given the green light to try and to possibly for her to be willing to proceed in having sexual relations. So she goes in the bed with the man, right? And watching TV. And now he starts to, you know, try to rub his hand on her leg or, you know what I'm saying? Blow in her ear. I don't know if he actually blew in her ear, but, you know, he's doing his little thing, right? And now here it gets tricky. She kind of is like, chill out or whatever. And I don't know if it was chill out because I heard two different stories. I'm going to be honest with you. But from what I gather, she was hesitant, but even in her hesitancy, she didn't flat out shut it down. She didn't walk away. Now, listen, as I've grown in life, I've heard a lot of stories of women not knowing how to respond and react in those situations, okay? And that can then lead to, again, misinterpreted behavior and reading the quote-unquote signal wrong. But to that guy, and these were, they were young at this time, not to make it an excuse, but it's a reality. To him, it's still, okay, well, she's not leaving the room. She's not getting out of the bed. She must be cool. Now, he still makes his attempts. Eventually, she finally, gets out of the bed and decides to leave the house, okay? And now he wasn't upset. It was like, okay, well, he tried. She ultimately wasn't down. He thought there was an opportunity, left it at that. But she was furious. She was furious and was like, how could he try this? Why would he think that? And going back to my initial point, when women say, well, why are these men trying so fast? Sometimes it becomes a matter of misinterpreted behavior. And what I'm seeing in society is a huge disconnect between a lot of men and women. Some women are going to hear this story or are hearing this story and be like, oh, hell yeah, I'm thinking she was down too. Other women are going to be like, well, just because she did all that doesn't mean he has a right to try. So it's divided even amongst women, okay? But it's confusing as hell to a lot of men. And so now, this disconnect creates these dynamics where, yes, a lot of men attempt to make a sexual move because they genuinely think the woman is giving them the green light, all right? Now, again, I want to make clear, no means no, and no man should be forcing himself upon a woman or anything like that, all right? But we do have to understand that what we're talking about is men making an attempt, but, again, he took the decline. He didn't push any further with the decline. But this is what happens in a lot of situations. So to bottom line, wrap this point up, this is one of the things that leads to it. And so I do think to at least decrease the chances of misinterpreted behavior, misinterpreted signals, we got to be aware of some things that can give the wrong idea. You know, I think most of us can agree. Listen, you go into a man's bedroom, that's going to send the wrong signal in most cases. All right. And here's the thing. I feel the need to say this. Even if you say to a man, hey, like you can walk into a man's bedroom and say, I hope you know we ain't having sex. Right? And in his head, he's thinking, yeah, whatever, you're full of it. Like you're just saying that. And to you, that's crazy. Why would he think that? But he thinks that because a lot of men have been in this predicament where the woman said that and she was kind of just being playfully resistant, but she actually was down for it. Genuinely, all right? We're talking about genuine situations. So again, it creates a lot of confusion. But bottom line is like, we do have to be mindful of, this is why I'm a firm believer in, if we're trying not to have sexual relations, daytime dates, you know what I'm saying? Intimacy, if we're gonna have like kissing at home late at night, I'm not saying, there's plenty of men who won't even try even if that happens, but it can get a little risky or it can get tricky at that point. So I think creating good, strong boundaries that make it very clear we're not doing that or you're not down with that helps decrease it. Of course, there's nothing that guarantees that somebody out there won't try something because, you know, different people for different reasons are gonna make their attempts. But there are things that can help decrease the chances of having that misunderstanding in those situations where, again, it's just an attempt, but it's an attempt not in a way to force themselves. I really want to make that clear because I don't want people taking this the wrong way in any kind of way. All right, so now let's move along to the next reason why men try to have sex too soon is sometimes the attraction is just too damn strong. and again, I'm not saying that to make it okay, but I think even as a woman, some of you can relate to that. Some of you can relate to where there have been situations where you genuinely went into it not trying to focus or worry about sex or make it about sex, you know, and really trying to just get to know someone and that's it, you know. And in your head may have told yourself, yo, we're not having sex till months later, weeks later, whatever. But then you guys get into the presence of each other and it's just clicking. And I don't want to call it sexual chemistry. I think people mislabel those situations by calling it chemistry because chemistry is when things can flow together, they go well together, so to speak. And you guys to have sexual chemistry, you got to have sex. You know what I'm saying? So what you're feeling in that moment isn't, in my perception of things, not sexual chemistry. It is simply high level of traction and horniness. All right, like that's what it is. Y'all both horny right now. You're both really attracted to each other. So it feels like this chemistry because we're really clicking right now, but actual sexual chemistry would involve actual sex. But anyways, I digress. The point here is that high level of attraction can get people caught up, can get men to jump ahead of themselves. And again, it is not always, it's not simply a sign of him trying to just devalue you as just someone to have sex with. I mean, sometimes it can be that. But there are situations that exist like that. So, you know, that's something that we can't really control. Sometimes it's just there. There's a strong sexual attraction and strong sexual energy with people. But, you know, we understand that can lead to it. And this is where, again, once we sense that high level of sexual attraction between us, and you don't want it to go there, we need to have that discussion. You know, like I always say, you don't have to announce being abstinent or announce how long you're gonna wait until it's in a natural flow of conversation. But I do think that when both of you are recognizing this high level of sexual attraction and you can see that this can easily go in that direction very fast, then it's like, okay, you might want to just go ahead and bring it up. Like, you know what, hey, and acknowledge it for what it is. There's a lot of attraction here, but I really want us to wait. And then also, in addition to having that conversation, creating those healthy boundaries to help you guys not fall into that.
Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there.
Some men will play games. You're probably thinking they all play games, but no, some men. But in this context, it's not playing games to manipulate you, hurt you.